In this segment of I Take Your Point, we're talking about alpha males in entertainment, how power, control, and influence play out through music and celebrity. From Cardi B to Offset to the toxic dynamics we see in the spotlight, these stories reveal something real about the way we view masculinity. Share your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and then stick around to hear John's take.
And I think there's the toxic aspect of the alpha males that we see, especially online, and we see it in entertainment and we see it in politics. And so we started in the culture. We started with how it is that alpha males are viewed with respect to society. And then we see it implemented or see some of that implemented with respect to our entertainment aspect. And so this week, the story that jumped out to me was Cardi B and Offset. And again, Cardi B and Offset, gotta love them. Love Cardi B. Congratulations on her successful launch of her new album. Congratulations to her and Stefan Diggs for the pregnancy that they are celebrating. One of the things that came out when she was here in Atlanta last week was I was listening to some of the radio, and the question was, should we celebrate Cardi B because she's pregnant and is she still married? And I was like, okay.
What in the free world? I know, I need to be quiet.
So yes, technically she is still married. And yes, she is pregnant with the child of someone that she's dating. And so what came out, she said, the reason that I'm not getting a divorce is because I have a toxic relationship with my ex-husband who wants me to not only pay his back taxes, I think it's like 1.5 million in terms of back taxes, but he also wants the house that we own in Atlanta.
New lyrics for her. You can kiss my...
And she's like, I'd rather pay attorneys than write a check to this guy.
I'd rather eat ground glass than give him any... Get out of here and go write your own damn song. Okay, but I'm going to let you go on.
Think about toxic masculinity, especially in entertainment. And we see guys like Offset. And I'm a huge Offset fan with respect to his music. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, how did we get here? How did we get here?
How did we get here? John, I can't let you talk. I just keep interrupting because this is really charging me up. He is using his power, which we collectively in the culture have provided to him as this alpha male to oppress women. And that's why I asked you the question, what would happen if we didn't have...
He's not being an alpha male. He's being toxic. There's a difference.
Okay, in some people's mind, that is part of being an alpha male.
Oh,
that
okay.
I'm not going to allow this woman to dictate and to have and to do because she is a woman. It's just like when you talk about, I hate saying this, when you talk about white people, that they need a scapegoat, then they like to use black people. Men, I don't care what color they are, like to use women as their scapegoat. I am struggling because of this woman. I don't have this because of this woman. Adam, you could have drank oat milk. Nobody told you to eat the apple. We are not the root of your problem. Take accountability for yourself.
Okay, so what I hear you saying, what I think here is it's about control.
It's always about control. And it's about power. And it's a loss of control and a perceived loss of power. Because if you go back to the conversation we just had about looking at slavery, and the only thing that you had was your masculinity, you were celebrated for that. You're going to try and do whatever you can to hold on to that, whatever that looks like, whether it's beating a woman, whether it's emotionally abusive, whether it's financial abuse, whatever it is, you're going to try and hold on to it. And the easiest adversary, in my opinion, to these men, these toxic men, are women.
I take your point on that. With respect to the entertainment aspect, though, when you think about the control factor, which is the thing that's jumping out to me, I will say with the Offset thing, it is control from the standpoint that if you look at that relationship, it's clear that he has moved on because the one young lady that he is dating now actually lives in the house with him. He lives in the house that he wants Cardi B to give him, okay, with another woman. She has clearly moved on because she is now pregnant with a Stefan Diggs baby. And so from that standpoint, I think he's looking at it and saying, okay, you want me to give you a divorce. I control that aspect and I'm not going to give up that control unless you write a check to offset my back tax and you give me the house that I'm now living in with this other one. So from that's emotionally abusive and toxic to to the 10th degree.
Yes, and I think that that's exactly right, and I understand and I applaud her. So my mom probably hate this. I'll just do, in that situation, I would just do what my grandmother did. Like I don't think she divorced anybody. She just married somebody else and went on with her life. Like I don't know you anymore. Now, I guess I don't know what happened to the first one. She was like, I'm not going to waste my time with all of these legal procedures. I just don't know you anymore.
So obviously it's in your genes.
It's the I don't know you, Gene.
The other thing that jumps out with respect to the toxic masculinity part is, especially with men, and you talked about emotions and you talked about being able to process emotions. But, there's some men that are emotionally stunted. And this is,
They get that from other men. They get that from the culture. There's this movie, Inside Out. I don't know if you've ever watched. You probably don't because you don't like animated things, but it is so well done. But it's from the perspective of a young girl and the emotions that are going on and how she's processing and how she navigates through the different emotions. And so I was talking to I think it was my brother, and I was like, I wish they would do the same from a male. So in that movie, they show the father, but the only emotions the father exhibits are detachment and anger or annoyance. There was nothing showing the internal struggle that he may also be going through. Right. And so I just think it would be interesting to explore and give boys images that show that they're not the only one. You're not the only one that worries if a girl's going to call you back or if she likes you or the fear of rejection. Like you're just not.
yeah, but you think about the shows and the movies. I mean, the one that jumps out for me with respect to toxic masculinity is probably Fight Club.
I was going to say the Fight Club. That's
Yeah.
literally the epitome of it. Like that there shows it. Like I feel oppressed. I feel isolated. Let's go fight. Okay. That's one way to do it.
I mean, I get it. I get it. And it's because men do have problems sometimes, especially those that tend to bottle things up and allow it to simmer and don't have an outlet for it. And all of a sudden, how do we get it out? We get it out through that rage. And that rage can be with a fight club, or that rage can be online gaming and joining these quote unquote alpha male or watching alpha male influencers online.
I would say this, that I admit it at the beginning, I am part of the problem because I unfortunately like these assholes. But I would think that you, upon reflection, can think that maybe you contribute to this problem. You're saying that the boys don't feel like they have an outlet to express themselves. What if they did and they encountered someone like you? Okay, softy. Okay, weakie. Okay, your safe room. Okay, you're what? And so you're saying, oh yeah, they don't talk about. Well, that's because they got a black man in the back saying, ah, you soft little safe room needing, like whatever. That was so harsh. But you're saying, yes, do it. And then you oppress them and then you label them when they do. And so when they are pushing that in and they're holding that in, and then it comes out in the form of, I have access to a gun, I'm going to go kill everybody. Now I've really got the power. And then we're like, oh my God, these young people are killing people. No, it's not young people, it's men. Men are primarily, again, I don't do statistics, but I don't really care, that are committing these violent crimes. They're the ones that are committing rape. They're the ones that are primarily committing, because women do the same thing, but primarily men. And we always like to say, we'll say, these young people are doing this. No, girls play video games too. Girls are exposed to these things too, but we're not committing crimes at the rate that men are. It is something else. But women, girls, we are encouraged to talk about our feelings. That's all we do is talk. Like I probably took 90% of this conversation just talk. We are encouraged to talk, but men are like, either go play your foot or watch football or whatever you do. Don't talk to me about it. Or they don't feel like they can, because if they do, they're seen and viewed as soft. It's people like you that are doing it.
Okay, so two things can be true.
No, they can't be. It's only the one thing that I just said.
Okay, two things can be true. I can believe that there are aspects of this generation that is completely soft, meaning that for them, it's all about feelings. It's not feelings in and of itself. It's fine. It's fine to have feelings. But at some particular point, you also need to have action, and you need to have.
I agree with that. I totally agree, because like I said, I don't particularly care for whiners, and I call them a whiner. Like you just can't, you can be sad, but we're not going to, you can visit the valley of sadness, but we're not living there. You're going to come on out.
Hold on. I will also agree that the alpha male influences that you're talking about with respect to social media is something that's a huge problem. We talked about violence in America two episodes ago, and individuals believing that what it is that they're hearing in these groups or what it is that they're sensing in terms of this anger. And it is, I will agree, it is primarily men.
But can I say one thing before you go on, John? I know you're tired of me. I know you are. I just want to clarify one thing that I said that typically that we don't talk about, like if something happens, they'll say people, like they'll generalize it, unless it's a marginalized group. If a woman does it, these girls are fighting. If a black man does it, this black man did this. I just want to say that. Please carry on, sir.
Thank you.
I'm getting ready to mute. Boop, boop, boop.
We know that's not going to happen.
I'm doing it right now. I'm muting.
Thank you guys for joining us as we talked about toxic masculinity and alpha males with respect to entertainment. Folks, the stories we consume have power. For too long, entertainment has, consciously or not, reinforced a toxic version of masculinity, and that has caused us real harm. We've seen how the anti-hero, the controller, and the influencer have created a dangerous script that tells them to bottle up their pain and dominate others. The consequences are impossible to ignore. We're dealing with individuals with a silent mental health crisis, ongoing gender inequality, in a culture where so many men feel trapped. The rise of a healthier, more complex male character is what we need, and it's possible. We need to demand these stories because we need a different vision of what manhood and alpha maleness looks like, one defined by honesty, sympathy, empathy, and respect. This can remind us that our masculinity can be a force of good. But the responsibility of this doesn't just fall on Hollywood or on social media. It's on all of us, the audience, the consumer. By choosing to support media that challenges stereotypes and by rejecting content that glorifies toxicity, we can help shift the culture. So the next time you're watching a movie or you're scrolling your feed, look for these stereotypes. Ask yourself, what version of masculinity is this selling? And is it the one we should be buying? Thanks as always for taking the time to spend some time with us while you're out and about this week. Take the time to do something nice for yourself. And while you're at it, make the time to do something nice for someone else. Until next time, we'll talk to you.
Thanks for tuning in to another lively conversation on I Take Your Point. This podcast is a production of the SME LLC Media Group. All rights reserved. If you are enjoying the show, hit the subscribe button in the top right corner. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and check out past episodes. Until next time, take care and be well.